Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Deluxe class, Minerva. Let's start off by taking a look at the packaging and then we will get into the review. So of course up front we have, of course, Minerva in a really cool looking kind of buggy car mode with the two blasters on the side. We have the Legacy logo, Transformers on the side. We do have Autobot Minerva on the side with the Autobot symbol and a really nice screen. Of course there's an open window displaying the figure when it would be in the packaging. On the side we have two really cool artwork shots of Minerva in her robot mode with her two blasters, a close-up of her face, and some really cool Cybertronian text. On the back, she transforms in 14 steps. There is two product shots, one of the robot and of course one of the car. And on the final side, we have the typical Legacy Autobot artwork. Before we get into the review, I do want to actually ask, let me know in the comment section down below, how does the video look right now? You might be wondering why, because I actually got a brand new camera, and this is my first video or first review using this brand new camera. So do let me know what you think of this new camera in the comment section down below. Is the visual better? Is the lighting better? Really do let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. But with all that out of the way, let's now get into the review for the Transformers Legacy Deluxe class, Minerva. So here we have Alita in her robot mode. Let's start off by taking a look at the details, starting at the very top with that head sculpt. Some really nice orange for the face and some red for these side face pieces, some really nice blue for the eyes, and some black for these kind of antennas or horns, and some white for the main top helmet section. Overall, really cool looking head sculpt in my opinion. And there's some really nice wheel or front car pieces on the sides. I actually do quite like these. It's a bit unfortunate because they do slightly get in the way of the arm articulation, but the design of it actually looks very, very cool in my opinion. I also really do like this glossy black paint and plastic they use for the wheels. Another plus is, of course, they are not mushroom peg that I know of, so that's really good. If we do go to the chest and arms, some really nice red for the shoulder and some gray for the kind of elbow or forearm region and the hand, and some more white there as well. Pretty plain. I really do like this nice blue kind of highlight section at the crotch. There's some here and on the hips and some Gunamo gray at the stomach. That looks super good in my opinion. As for the legs, overall very simple, really just done in that red and white, but look pretty cool. And that same kind of design trait as the shoulders. We have the wheels on the sides of the legs, which I actually kind of like in my opinion. If we do flip to the back, there is a bit of a backpack, as you can see kind of from a side profile there. It sticks out a little bit, unfortunately, on this copy, because of course this is just a direct repaint, slight remold of the Legacy Alita 1 from Wave 2. The backpack on that copy, or my copy of Alita 1, is much more secure, but on this one, it is unfortunately quite loose. It does stay, of course, if you just leave it on a shelf. There is a tab there, but for some reason, it just doesn't want to stay as good as it should, which is a bit unfortunate, but really doesn't bother me that much. But design-wise, I actually really do like it. Actually, in my preference, or in my opinion, this is my preferred deco of the two of Alita 1 and Minerva, but that is just my opinion. Let's now get down to articulation. So if you have Alita 1, you know exactly what to expect here. So starting at the very top with that head, it can look a little bit up, a little bit down, side to side. As for the arms, they can move all the way up, and of course they can move out and in. There is a swivel at the bicep and elbow bends. There is a wrist rotation. As for the waist, it can do a full 360. You just kind of have to move the backpack a little bit out of the way, so there is a full 360 rotation, just tabbing that backpack back into place. The legs are slightly limited with the splits, so there is this whole kind of leg panel here, so it can only really move that far out, which is a bit unfortunate. It can kick that far forward, which is pretty good in my opinion. Can kick that far back. There is also a slight swivel at the thigh and a knee bend to a very good degree, and a really, really good ankle pivot. And I think that's really nice. So there's a few areas that could be better because unfortunately, of course, due to the design, which this is the same problem with Alita, the design of the leg, there's this kind of outer panel that covers it that just makes it a little bit more restricted for the leg articulation. But everything else is actually really good ankle pivot and really good wrist rotation, which I actually do appreciate a good wrist rotation because quite a few figures recently don't have it. It's like a point blank, and dead ends, they did not have a wrist rotation, so it's kind of nice this figure has one. Let's now get down to the accessories. So she does come with the same two blasters that came with Alita, just a different deco. But of course, the third accessory, which was that little kind of ear top piece that you would put on top of the car or on the backpack in the robot mode, it is another little third accessory, but it's a completely different one. It's this kind of light piece that replaces it, which honestly, I think this accessory is better than that one because I really never understood why they included that top ear or kind of headpiece. I really never got that, but of course, the only really place you can store it, you can of course store it in the hand, but the main way that they show in the instructions is there is a port and there is a peg, and you just plug it on the back, and that is pretty much it. That's all they really show. You can kind of customize if you want to. There's some mech tip ports here and there. There's some on the legs if you wanted to attach it there just to have it a little bit more visible. You can if you want to, but by the book, that is where you put it. So for the two blasters, with Elita 1, they were done in a really nice transparent blue plastic, which is my preferred look of these weapons, but now they're done in more of a kind of a translucent kind of clear plastic and a really nice glossy black, which I actually really do like this. This looks really good. This one, not my favorite, kind of cheap. Hopefully you can see it. I really do apologize if it's completely see-through, because it is pretty much see-through. It is a see-through weapon, which is, I guess, kind of cool, but you can plug these into her hands to have her dual wield them, which I think is a pretty cool look, and have them like that, which they are both Blasted Piece compatible, which is a really nice feature, and you can create some really cool poses. Another thing you can do, which I typically don't, but I will show off this feature, there is some pegs on both sides, and there is ports on both sides, so you can, if you want to, combine them like this to have one big weapon, just in case you want to have one of her hands free to do a really cool kind of battle pose or something, which I guess is a nice option. And that is pretty much it for the accessories. I'm just going to give her blaster back in this hand. I kind of like the dual wield look. That is just my opinion. Let's now get down to one quick comparison. I will have several more, of course, whenever she's in her vehicle mode, but as for the robot, I'm just going to have one quick mold comparison. Here she is with her mold mates, Elita 1 from, I'm pretty sure, Legacy Wave 2. And they overall do look very cool next to each other. So as you can see, mold-wise, they are the exact same thing, except the entire top head sculpt section. That I've pointed out, maybe there could be some other areas, but from what I've seen from reviews and stuff like that and pictures, and what I see here, the only change is the head sculpt. And just my preference, I actually quite like this deco more than Elita. That's just my opinion. But down to the weapons, I actually really do like the transparent blue plastic they use for the weapons. That could be slightly biased because blue is my favorite color. Who knows? But as you can see from a side view, they are the exact same thing, and they overall look pretty cool next to each other. And another change, of course, is the accessory, which, as you can see, she has her little kind of earpiece there, and this is the light piece. So there is, I would say, two changes to this figure, or to this mold, that you can tell apart, but they overall do look very cool next to each other. And that is pretty much it for this comparison. Of course, I will bring Elita 1 back a little bit later after transformation for a kind of a buggy comparison to show you, but let's now get down to transformation. Let's now get down to transformation into the buggy car mode. So what you're going to do is get the arms. You're going to rotate at the bicep just like that on, of course, both arms. Then you can get the hand, rotate this forward using that wrist swivel. Do the same thing on the other arm, just like that. You can then go to the legs, and there's this little panel you're just going to push forward just like that. Just push that panel forward fully like that. So then what you're going to do is push the entire backpack section kind of out as much as you can, and then you're going to rotate at the waist a full 360. And then what you're going to do is go to the very back. You're going to push this entire top section all the way up, just like that. Then you can flip forward and push these wheel sections down. There is a tab on this piece and a slot on that piece. So just push that down, tab that into place. Same thing on the other one. Just push that down, tab it into place. And then what you're going to want to do is open up this entire back piece, and there's this other section you're just going to get out like that, push that out. And then what you're going to do, just make sure that head is pushed out or up, and there is a tab on this piece, and there is a slot on the forearm, and that's just going to tab right into place like that. And there we go. And tab that into place. Do the same thing on the other side, so just tab that into place, just like that. Make sure everything is nice and secure. And then you're going to go to the legs. You're just going to hinge this entire section out, and I might have to, of course, neaten some things up after I do this. So just push these sections out, and then you're going to tab both legs together just like that. And then the legs will just kind of overlap the arm, and there is a tab and slot, and there is a tab and slot. So just line everything up like that. Make sure everything is nice and secure. Do the same thing with this other one. Just overlap this section, tab this into place, and then you're going to go to the back, just flip these feet in to make like the boosters, and there we have Minerva in her really cool looking buggy car mode. Let's take a look at the details. Here we have Legacy Minerva in her buggy car mode. Let's take a look at the details. Starting at the very front, we have some really nice headlights done and some really nice white with some really good sculpting on the front hood section. A very classic Autobot symbol done in red. Again, really nice sculpted headlights with some red at these kind of rim pieces and this grille piece here looking very cool. Huge piece of transparent blue plastic, and I really do like all those sculpted lines they put in there for, of course, like the windshield or the window. That looks really good. And I really do like the kind of weird odd shapes that it goes, from the top. It kind of angles and curves. It looks really good. I really do like this side profile. And a really nice stripe of red going all the way from the back to the front. And again, the wheels being not mushroom peg looks super good. I'm pretty sure they are not mushroom peg. They look really good in this really nice glossy black plastic or paint. That looks really nice in my opinion. And it rolls actually pretty well across the ground. Of course, this is a cloth surface, so there's a little bit of grab, but if you had a nice flat table, it would roll pretty well. Of course, these are the feet just kind of flipped inside out. These are now the boosters, which I think is pretty creative. They don't look too bad in my opinion. And then we have this entire little fin piece done in red. Overall, very simple, but I actually do quite like this cool looking buggy alt mode. Let's now get down to the accessories and their storage. So first up, we have the light piece. The main storage, of course, is actually the same area as from the remote mode. There's that port and there is a peg, and this just plugs right up top like that. As for the two weapons, there is, as you can see, 3 MechTech ports on each side, so there's really many ways and combinations you can store these. You can plug this one back here, you can flip it to the other side, and I'm going to store this one on the back as well. And I think that overall looks pretty cool. Let me just get that in there. There we go. And I think that overall looks pretty cool. Definitely between the two weapons, I like the black one more. I just don't think the clear one really fits it. I think this would have been better maybe if it was kept that same kind of transparent blue plastic from Alita, or maybe if this was done in red. I think that would have looked pretty cool, but that is just my opinion. And that is pretty much it for the accessory storage. Let's now get down to a few alt mode comparisons. So here she is with her mold mates, Alita 1. As you can see, mold-wise, they are the exact same thing, except a few things. As you can see, the little top piece is slightly different, and of course the head sculpt, but you can barely see that. Everything else is the same, just a huge major redeco. Of course, the weapons, same sculpt, just a huge deco change. And I have to say again, I do like the glossy black pistol that they have on that side. Just the clear weapon isn't really doing it for me. I think it would have been better maybe if they kept it blue, maybe did it in red or something else. I think would have just looked a little bit better and maybe fit the color scheme better of the robots. But overall, that looks pretty cool next to each other. Actually, let me know in the comment section down below of the two versions of this mold, which one do you like more? Let me know in the comment section down below. And they overall do look very cool, just kind of a side view. And that's pretty much it. And now for one quick sports car comparison, another comparison. Here she is with Point Blank and Peacemaker. Just thought I'd do another kind of sports car comparison. And they overall look pretty cool next to each other. And that is pretty much it for the comparisons and this alt mode. Let's now get down to the final thoughts. Now for the final thoughts for the Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Walgreens exclusive Minerva. Starting in her buggy mode, I actually do quite like it. There's a lot of really cool angles. The accessory storage is pretty good. Of course, I actually really do like the new added light piece. I think that works a lot better than Alita's weird kind of ear headpiece horn thing. I never really understood that. Maybe that was a reference to like a comic book or something. Let me know why they did that. And with the Alita figure, I never really got that. And it just looks kind of weird sticking out of the top. And the light piece, again, actually it works mostly because it's more functional. It makes more sense. And the color scheme, it matches, of course, with the red and white theme of the figure, and I think it actually looks pretty cool. The accessories, I do quite like the black pistol. Of course, both weapons are the exact same sculpt as the ones that came with Alita, just a different color scheme. I do like the black pistol, but I don't really like the clear one. The sculpt is actually pretty cool. I really did like it with Alita, the really nice transparent blue plastic. I think with this, they should have done a different direction, because the whole kind of clear plastic look, I don't really think it fits the rest of the figure. If they had done it maybe in red, because they could have had like black and red, or maybe black and blue, I think that would have been pretty cool to kind of fit maybe the police siren theme that they were doing with the other accessory. I don't know, maybe they could have done something better. Let me know your thoughts on that accessory in the comments. But overall, the buggy of just the design of the buggy actually really works. I really do like that big piece of transparent blue plastic for the windscreen. That actually looks super cool, and they sculpted in a lot of lines and details. That looks really cool as well. And the wheels, I'm really glad they're not motion peg. I'm pretty sure they're not. Just the look of them, I think, looks super cool, very nice. And the glossy paint and plastic actually looks super cool. Rolls pretty well across the ground. I also do like the creativity of flipping the feet inside out to become the boosters. Of course, a lot of these notes are the same from Alita, because it's pretty much the exact same figure, just a few minor changes in sculpt. Getting down to transformation, it's the exact same as Alita, so if you have that figure, you know exactly what to do here. I'd say it's just a bit fiddly here and there. Sometimes it's some things on tab, like the arms, if you do this first and then you do the legs, sometimes they might not tab, but that's just kind of an everyday Transformer thing. Sometimes that just happens. You have to redo a few steps, but, you know, people get used to it. Getting down to the robot mode, I actually really do like the robot mode. This is actually my preferred deco of the robot mode. I'd probably have to say of the buggies, I probably prefer Alita's more, but that's just my opinion. But the robot mode, really like the design of the head sculpt, very weird colors with the orange and like kind of red and yellow colors looking super cool. I really do like the blue and red and white looking super cool, and you can combine both weapons to form one kind of big cannon. I typically don't do that. I prefer the kind of dual wield pistol look. It looks pretty cool, and the light piece actually stores in the exact same area. There is a port, and of course you get the peg, and this actually becomes pretty much the entire backpack on the top of the buggy that becomes the backpack of the figure. And now mentioning that, the backpack actually isn't that bad. Yes, there is a bit of cable back there, but honestly, it doesn't look ugly. It actually looks kind of cool, because you have the huge wheel pieces from the front of the car as their shoulders, and these back wheels actually become the legs, and I think that actually looks pretty cool. I really do like it where there's a few bits and pieces of the car, or whatever the alt mode is, kind of hiding in plain sight, and whatever Transformer, any Transformer, I actually really just do like it when they do that. I think it looks pretty cool. Articulation is slightly limited. Actually, this is kind of a complaint for Alita and this figure here. Where the legs are concerned, because there's actually these kind of armor plates or pieces they put on there, so kicking out to the side and back is actually quite limited. Forward, I would say it's pretty average for a deluxe class figure. What's really nice is there is a wrist rotation. I have to say that, because some of the past figures I've gotten have no wrist rotation. I'm pretty sure Point Blank and Dead End and another one I got recently, I can't remember, did not have a wrist rotation, so that's a little bit disappointing, so I'm really glad this one has that. Of course, this is a repaint, so it had to have that, but I had to mention it anyway. Everything else is pretty average. Of course, there's a bit of kibble in the way here and there with the wheels and stuff, but you can easily overlook that. You can definitely put her in some really cool, crazy poses, and I do quite like this figure. And if you're wondering what the difference is in the robot mode between Minerva and Alita, the only difference is the head sculpt and the light piece. And that is pretty much it for the final thoughts. Again, do let me know what you think of this new camera. Let me know what you think of the look, visual-wise, the lighting, because this is kind of a test video. I'm thinking it's going pretty well. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know your thoughts on this figure in the comment section down below. Also, of course, which version of this mold do you prefer, Minerva or, of course, Alita? And that's pretty much it for this review, so I will see you next time.